Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Hey guys, we're your hosts, M and J, and today we wanted to look at the CGI He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon that recently premiered. This is the second He-Man cartoon to come out this year, the first being Masters of the Universe Revelation, which was supposed to be targeting fans of the 80s cartoon, while this one targets a younger demographic, and you can see a lot of the modern influences, arguably more than the source material even. I wouldn't be surprised if they only used the Masters of the Universe name for branding purposes. Despite that, we did find the show to be pretty enjoyable. Of course, every company's goal is to make a profit, and I don't mind that as long as they're putting out quality products, and I think this show was successful in that regard. It does rely heavily on modern tropes, and the humor can be pretty juvenile, which in my opinion ends up causing some tonal whiplash, since there ends up being some pretty dark moments, but then they also have Adam looking for the bathroom in Castle Grayskull for like 5 minutes. Despite these personal gripes, I felt like the show had more positives than negatives. The characters were interesting and likable, the story was compelling, and the performances were pretty good, and we're interested in seeing where it goes, especially since it ends on a cliffhanger. The show is doing its own thing, but it's aware of what it is, and it's not trying to be something it isn't, or be aggressive to what came before and its fans, which is a pretty welcome change of pace. Kind of a low bar, but with the way the industry is, that's all we can really ask for. 10 years before the start of the series, Prince Keldor attempts a coup on his brother, King Randor. The coup fails, and both he and Prince Adam are assumed dead. And now pretty much everyone is unhappy in the kingdom, but of course Prince Adam is alive, although he has amnesia, and has been living in the jungle with the tiger tribe this whole time. Adam does wonder who he is and where he came from, which is a little more Adora than Adam traditionally, but they mix it up enough with the tiger tribe actually being kind and caring, unlike the Horde. And they don't kidnap kids and force them to be child soldiers. They actually take in a lot of humans, like Crass, a girl who was the only survivor of a crash, and it took the tiger tribe 3 days to dig her out, so she wears her father's helmet since it's what saved her during the crash. I can appreciate they gave her a backstory to explain it, but I still think Ram Mam is not the best name. Cringer is basically the adult of the group, and acts like a father figure to the kids. I like this relationship. He's not really a scaredy cat in this version, he's just doing his best to keep his tribe and home safe. He has a cool backstory, but I would have liked to see more flashbacks to it. We see the aftermath, and we hear about it, but it's mostly told to us rather than shown to us, and personally I'd like to see more showing and less telling. The tiger tribe has been harassed by poachers for a long time. One of them is this weird guy who ends up being Beast Man, but he manages to capture several tigers, including Cringer. He manages to escape at the cost of his claws, but several others get left behind, so this has pretty long-lasting effects. While that's happening in the jungle, Prince Keldor's co-conspirators are still looking for revenge on King Randor. It's Evelyn and Trapjaw, but they're going by Evelyn and Cronus right now. They're both pretty competent and threatening, and they've taken on 2 apprentices who are just orphans who have nowhere else to turn to. This ends up being Duncan and Tila, who have no relation to each other, and barely know each other. It is kinda sad to not have the father-daughter relationship, but they're handled alright for what they are. Duncan is very much the Donatello character. He's very good with technology, and a lot of other characters don't understand what he's saying when he's trying to explain what he's doing, but he's generally nice and isn't all that interested in all of this evil doing. Cronus actually used to be man-at-arms, so he's easily able to keep up with Duncan, which makes for a kind of twisted mentor-mentee relationship, but Duncan knows this guy's not good news, and isn't interested in being in his shadow. Tila is a young, talented magic user, but she's still learning, and again, Evelyn probably could be a good mentor for her, you know, if she wasn't so evil. But I appreciate how unapologetically evil they both are. Tila is no fan of King Randor. We get hints at classism in the kingdom, with Tila saying that certain areas are suffering more than others, and she's from one of these places. Unfortunately, we're just told about it, and we don't get to see this, and I think that makes it less impactful. It's another thing I would have liked to be shown rather than told. Tila even mentions that people have different accents depending on where they're from, which is how she can tell that Adam is from the city, but to be honest, I don't hear a big difference in their accents. But apparently we're supposed to. Evelyn tasks her with stealing a Grayskull artifact from King Randor, which she does, but then she hears a voice telling her to bring it to the champion, so she ends up following that rather than taking orders from Evelyn, which she's not happy about. So she and Cronus go after her and drag Duncan along, and that's how they all end up in the Tiger Tribe. tribe. They find Adam, turns out he's the champion, and the power of Grayskull is unleashed. In this version, Adam shares the power with all the Masters of the Universe instead of just Cringer like he did in the original, and I like this addition. It's building on an idea that was already there. You could say it's formulaic, but it's handled well enough, and it's a fun watch. The characters are likable enough. There's a few instances where I'm a little sad to see some changes, but it works for what it is, and I can accept that. Overall, I think the story was really good. The villains felt menacing and the stakes were pretty high, so it was pretty engaging. Other than the world building being a little lacking, and the humor not really being to my personal taste, I thought the show was overall very good, but hopefully we'll get to explore more in season 2, not just with the world but the characters. It'd be cool to see other masters and villains show up, like Stratos or Triclops. Queen Marlena is absent from the show, and they don't mention what happened to her, but she's just not there. And I'm not sure if the show is going to touch on Adora, but it would be cool to see what became of her in this universe. I also hope we get to see more of ancient Eternia. This take on Orko was different, but interesting. I was a little worried at first. He's a robot that Duncan fixed up, but he accidentally mistakes himself for being Orko the Great, an ancient wizard. There were a few episodes where he was having trouble grasping reality, and I was worried that was going to be his whole character, but he ends up coming around and being very likable. So in the end, the show was a lot of fun, and we're interested in the world they created. But that's our opinion. What do you guys think? Would you be interested if we did episode reviews of the show? Because we could if you want us to. Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, we really appreciate it. Before we go, we want to give a shout out to our members: Caleb Nelson, Stutania, Tyrant Carnivore, Adam K, Shiny Orc Boy, The Rabbit Mancer, Hunter Rose, General Bolivar, Depth Charge Media, Samru163, Kopitio Bozinski, Gabby Hime, Sandy Martin, Verdant Range, Butcher7 Actual, Dash Hound, Bandito Bane, JVR, Hussyman42, Nixel, Eric Griffin, Phantom of the Night, and Phil C. Thank you all so much for your support. If you want to become a member, you can hit the join button next to the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, you can leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That helps us out a lot too. And it's free. We also have a Buy Me Coffee if you want to support us that way. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye everyone. Bye guys.